Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Welcome you all again in the virtual learning system of Pakistan International School, Taif, Saudi Arabia. Dear students, as you know that this is Pakistan International School, Taif, virtual class for class second year students, subject computer science, and today is our 12th lecture. Teacher name, as you know that, Imran Ahmed. Dear student, the feedback of our previous lecture, the question which we have started, or you can say that this is the total chapter of your book. This is chapter number second, chapter number 2. And the question which we have started, we started was list different steps or phases of system development life cycle, or you can say that phases or steps of SDLC. Over there, defining, planning, feasibility, analysis, requirement, engineering, design, coding, testing, deployment, maintenance. And this is the major diagram of chapter number 2, SDLC, or where the output of each phase is the input to the next phase. Already we have defined few steps and few phases in our previous lecture. Today we will continue the further topic, and inshallah I hope so we will finish this chapter. Yes. Yesterday we were discussing what is the use of construction or coding phase of SDLC. Over there we have defined the definition of coding and a single example which belongs to C++ language we were discussed over there. Today our topic, same question, but the different phase where the exactly testing activities begin in SDLC. Testing means check a program. Testing or verification phase. The process of executing a program modules to find error is called testing. It means that when we have to write any program and we execute, if some kind of error over there, it means that we are testing our program. The testing phase is used to test all aspects of the system to ensure its functionality and performance. Not all over the program, testing is not belong all over the program in the error, but also its results, its performance, whether the result is producing correctly or incorrect. Let's say you make a program and program was write a program to add two numbers. Over there, they write add two number. Instead of putting the plus mark symbol, you place a asterisk or multiplication mark symbol. Obviously, the program will be executed, but the result will not be accurate. Why? Because instead of adding, you are doing the multiplication over there. So all of this thing is called the testing or functionality and its performance. The testing is done by giving sample data to the system as input and checking the output. You will enter the temporary data. Let's say in a result card, you enter the temporary data of a student. Most of the time in the junior classes, I gave you the assignments in the Excel sheet that make the result sheet of 10 students. So you put the marks in the range of 0 to 100. But when you are feeding the data or when you enter the data, you enter 105. So it is not possible, but this is a computer. You can enter the data 105. So 105 is above the 100 marks, so it is not possible. So you will enter the data as real world. So this one is called the testing is done by giving sample data. So we are giving the sample data to the system as input and checking the output. So it will check the output whether the output is correct or incorrect. The purpose of testing is to evaluate the program or system to determine whether it meets the required result. Now, when you will produce the result, you will check, excuse me, you will check the result which our program is producing, that it is correct or incorrect. If it is not correct, then you will check the errors. It checks the consistency of the program by evaluating the result against predefined requirement. Predefined requirement means already the requirements have you collected, and you will check the output is produced by your program is correct or incorrect. If it is incorrect, it means that you have collected the requirements wrong. But if it is correct, it means that your program is running good. Example, in student examination system, the code can be tested by giving different inputs to the to make sure the result is correct. Let's say test 1, enter marks 80. In the above program which we have discussed in the previous lecture, place the value of marks is 80. When the value of marks is 80, it is pass. But when you are enter the value of marks is 25, so result should be like this, it will be fail. Why? Because we are applying the criteria. We are applying in if statement. If marks is greater than or equal to 33, then the student will be pass. So 80 is greater than or equal to 33, so condition is true, so output is pass. But if you enter the marks less than 33, obviously 25 is less than 33, so your result will be fail. So this one is the correct data. If I place the 180 on the 180, it will show you pass, but the data is not correct. But if I apply point or minus 25, so it is also impossible. Minus 25, it will show you the result failure although, but data is not correct. So all of this kind of checking is called the testing phase. Next, what is the purpose of deployment phase in SDLC? Discuss different methods of deployment. Deployment means installing a program. Now it means that your system, your computer, or your program is correct, 100% correct. You are sure that you make a program and it meets the requirement of an organization with the project you have made. So all aspects are okay from your side. Now next step is deployment or implementation phase. You can call this one is implementation phase. You will take your program and goes to that company and install your program into their computer. So this is called the implementation phase. What is the purpose of implementation phase, or what is the definition of implementation phase? The deployment is set of activities used to make the system available for use. Now system which you have developed is available for use. Now the customer will use your system. The deployment is also called implementation. Next name of deployment is implementation. A system can be implemented after it has been tested. In the previous step, you test all the aspect of your program. You are checking, you checked all aspect, and you are 100% sure that your system or your program is okay. Then now you are going to install your program into the customer computer. The process of changing from the old system to the new one is called conversion. Already, a company or an organization has running a program. Now you are replacing your program into the old program. So this one is known as conversion. The activities involved in the deployment or implementation phase are as follows. Installing of hardware and software. First of all, you will go to that company and install the hardware. It means that you will tell them, don't use the Pentium 4 computer. Now you will have to use Core i3, Core i5 or Core i7. This is hardware installation. And software installation. You will tell them which kind of software now they will need. They can need C++ or whatever, which program you are using in a language. The user and operation personnel are trained on developed software system. Now, one of your teammates will also responsible to train the other person. Trained other person means the other person, the company don't know what you have done in the program. So you tell them that we have made like this kind of program. So this is called the training. So you will train the personnel on over there, the person who are working on that system. It is your responsibility. You must train them one by one and tell them all the aspects of your program. Implementation methods. Implementation methods. Different methods of implementation are as follows. Direct implementation and parallel implementation. Direct implementation means is a set of implementation in which old system is directly replaced by newly system. It means that you go to that organization and tell them, was just finished. Your old system is finished. Don't use the old system. Now your new system is developed, so you will use the new system. So this is called the direct implementation. But this one is risky. It is the most risky implementation. Why this one is risky? It could be possible. There are few errors which you cannot watch, but the organization which they are using, they can watch it. Possibility is there. So this one is very, very risky. It may be caused when time is very short. It is also called crash implementation. It is also called crash implementation. Next one is parallel implementation. Parallel implementation means you can say that you install the project and you tell them you also use the old system as well as new system. So compare the result with each other, which one is better. So this one is known as the parallel system. Parallel implementation is a type of implementation in which both new and old system operate together. Watch over here. Old system operate together for a period of time. Like period of time, you can say that 6 months you will use both system together. Old system as well as new system. It is the safest but most expensive. So it is safe. Why it is safe? If your system has the error, then old system is already running. But if your system is not safe, then old system will be running very accurately. It is the safest but most expensive type of implementation. Expensive in the sense that both systems are working and the company organization will have to pay the new system as well as old system also. The result of both systems are compared. Now the results, when you install new system and the old system is already running, they will check the result. So they will compare which one is accurate. Your made system is accurate, or it is very fast, or it is very short. So they will compare. The old system can be used until all problems in the new system are removed. Watch over here. If the some kind of problem in your system, the company watch, so they call you and you will fix the error. So until all the error will be removed. Next is phased. Phase implementation is a type of implementation in which the individual components of new system are implemented one by one. You are develop the phased implementation means you are developing a school. Let's say you are making a system of school. In the first step, you install the examination system. So this one is phase one. So they will check in the second step. If the examination system now working perfectly, then in the second phase, you will install the account section. So account is the next phase. Third is the another phase, library phase, let's say. So up to so on, one by one, you install your project in a different phases. So this one is called the phase implementation. Next is pilot implementation. Pilot implementation is a type of implementation in which one part of organization use the new system and rest of the organization use the old system. Watch over here, the diagram. Over here, company is using the old system is written over here and the new system there. So phase one, this is like a phase system, but few steps they are using the old system. Also with the old system, they are using the new system. Then old system they are replacing with the new system. Watch over here, old system is also working, but the new system is also working with the old system. Next, old system is coming shortly and they reduce the old system up to so on. This process is going until new system will be implemented. So this is called the pilot implementation. Next one, what is the importance of maintenance support in SDLC? Maintenance. One is testing and another one is maintenance. Testing is before implementation and maintenance is after implementation. Let's say I give you the example. Testing is a process when the project you are developing and checking the error during the developing time. This process is called the testing. But maintenance is called whenever you install the project or install the program in the customer PC and the customer organization, and again they feel there is some kind of error, then they call you to fix that error. This is called the maintenance. So the system maintenance is an important and ongoing process in SDLC. It is used to monitor the system performance continuously in accordance with the user requirements. It may result in modifying the system if any problem is identified. Let's watch over here. If any problem is identified with its performance, they are running your system, their program is running on the customer PC, but suddenly they feel there is some kind of error, then what they will have to do, they will call you and you go over there and fix that error. Then it means that this process is known as maintenance. The system may enter the planning phase if any modifications are required. Watch over here, planning phase. So in the all system is already implemented and the planning phase is the top phases of SDLC. Now you will check the planning phase again and the requirements again, and then coding, then testing, up to so on, one by one. This process continues until a complete solution is provided to the customer. Complete solution, watch over there. The process continues until complete solution is provided to the customer. The maintenance can be a repairing, modification, or enhancement in the system. Okay, repairing means, or modification, or enhancement means a organization, a company has introduced a new product and they also want to be computerized that product. So this one is called enhancement. You will enhance your project to that level of product. So this is known as maintenance. Next one, which personnels are involved in SDLC? Personnels. Now over there, this was the last step of our SDLC diagram. Watch over here. After deployment, last step was maintenance phase. So our question, which was different steps or phases of SDLC, system development life cycle. Over there we have discussed the 10 steps which we in the defining, planning, feasibility, analysis, requirement engineering, design, coding, testing, deployment or implementation and the maintenance way. Next question. Our last phase was what is the importance of maintenance. Now, which personnels are involved in SDLC? Explain their role briefly. Personnel means which things. You can say that when you are developing a project, making a system, which kind of persons or which kind of things are involved during the system development life cycle. Explain them. Okay. SDLC activities are performed by different people. Watch over here. Not only single person is involved, different peoples are involved, known as, and these no people known as personnel. The personnel or the professional who perform their particular job. Let's say they are system analyst, programmer, many other managers are there. So we will explain one by one in detail. Different personnel involved in SDLC and their role are as follows. Number one, management team. The management team is responsible to satisfy the customer. It makes sure that high quality of software is developed according to the customer expectation. So you can say that there are marketing managers are there who will sell your project. So many others. So this is known as the management team. The project must be delivered within allocated time and cost. Watch over here. If they told you that you make the project within a 6-month duration, so allocated time is 6 months. The team also reduces the risk associated with the project. The role of management team as follows: provide a successful software in regard to time, cost and quality objective. So these things must be clear in your mind, take in your mind: time, cost and quality objectives. Ensures that customer expectations are met. Customer expectation, customer was expecting that you will make the project very accurately. So customer expectation. Collect historical information and data for future use. Ensure that requirements are fulfilled comprehensively. Reduce risk associated with the project. So this one is the responsibility of management team. Next one, project manager. The project manager is responsible for planning, execution and closing of a project. He typically has management skill with software development experience. So you can say that he has the much knowledge of management side as well as computer skills also, or programming skills also. He must have the knowledge of system development life cycle, the steps, the phases we have studied in the previous lecture or the previous topic. Some key responsibilities of a project manager are as follows: develop the project plan, manage the project budget, manage the project's stakeholders, manage the project team, manage the project risk, schedule and conflict. So these are the responsibility of the task or the responsibility of a project manager. Next one is system analyst. Most important in kind of programming, in the terms of programming, system analyst. The system analyst is a software development professional. He studies the problems, plans, solutions, recommends software system and manages project development. A system analyst typically has expertise in various programming languages. Watch over here, various programming languages. Operating system and hardware platform are also. So he must now have the knowledge of programming languages, operating system like Windows, Linux, and hardware platform means kind of system, Pentium 4, Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, whatever. He have complete knowledge about. Some key responsibilities of system analyst are as follows. Plan the system flow. Interact with the customer to know the project requirements. Define technical requirements. Help programmer during system development. Manage system testing. Last responsibility, document requirements and contribute to the user manuals. So all of these are responsibility of system analyst. Next one is programmer. Is the person who writes program in a programming language. Now in the next chapter, you can call it you are, when you start the C++, you can call it that we are a programmer. He is responsible to write. Now programmer is responsible to write, test, debug, and maintain the code. Some key responsibility of programmer as follows. Write the program code, update and modify existing program, test the program to make sure it works good, prepare graph, tables, and analytical data to show the progress of computer program. Next one is software tester. Software tester. The software tester is a computer programmer with expertise in testing program using different techniques. He is responsible to understand requirements and create test methods. He also prepares test data and execute the tests. He prepares reports about the problem in the program. He will. So this one is known as software tester. Next one, customer. The customer is an individual or organization that is current or potential buyer or user of the software. You can say that you can say that it is a user who will use your program or a customer who will buy your program. The customer are also called clients. So you can say that we are clients of Windows operating system because we didn't develop the Windows operating system, but we are using. So we are clients. The difference between a customer and a client is that the customer purchase the software products. Customer purchase the software product and the client purchase services. Client purchase services. Customer are the real evaluator of the software product. So software product who will market, who will use your project is a customer. The use it and identify its merits and demerits. User, end user, you can say that end user who can tell you your program is good training or not good training. So this one is known as customer. Over here, your chapter number 2 is complete. Inshallah, in the next lectures, we will start the chapter number 3. I hope so. Next next lecture, we will meet you in the school because after from this week, summer vacation has been announced. So inshallah, see you in the school. Pray for me. Pray for all Muslim. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.